Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It feels like a Friday for some reason. I think it's because I worked all weekend. So now it's like all blending together. All right. Welcome, everybody. Cool beans. Wow. 66. We should be at 110 based on other weeks. You guys sleeping in because it's too hot outside? Oh, I'm not kidding. I leave my house at 5:30 and I think it was 84 degrees when I left this. Jesus. There's just nothing. Come back and shower. It takes an hour to dry off. It's just welcome to summer in Florida. Cool. Well, let's jump on in. I got some cool stuff to talk about today because that's my phone over there. I told you guys this. I'll say it again because sometimes you don't listen to me, like my children. Today's quote: please set the intention to choose peace and non-resistance because choosing anything different is just silly. Where might that quote have come from? The answer is Matthew Perry, right? Set the intention to choose peace and non-resistance. So what happens in our business? Do we sometimes go in front of situations that we don't win and we get frustrated and angry and it ruins the rest of your day or week for some of you, right? Things happen for a reason. If you learn from them, it works better. So peace and non-resistance is a way to overcome objections, right? And in today's market, you're going to have to do more, which is what I'm going to talk about next. And when you do more, you're going to get more rejection, but you're also going to get more results, right? So we can't let the objections hold us back and keep us from trying more, right? Very interesting. So my wisdom for the day: prepare for a lean 2024. The market is still predicting 4.1 million home sales. You remember, Jim, at the type, we were doing 6.6 million home sales a year. 4 million home sales is not a lot, but realtors are dropping like flies. I think we've terminated 50 in the last week for non-payment of dues or non-keeping up with their education. And they were notified 3, 4, 5, 6 times because I'm copied on every one of their notifications, and they're just not playing the game. So thank goodness that's happening to us. It's happening across the industry. So the population, separate the wheat from the chaff. Exactly. So I wrote down just simple things, and Chris has been talking about this. More open houses. You know, we posted 83 open houses last weekend. That's pretty damn impressive. You guys are working your asses off, and open houses are producing results of buyer leads for the future. So you're stocking your pipeline. And I'd love to hear when you tell me what you're doing. I'm stocking my pipeline. I'm putting them in Moxie. You're doing all the additional stuff, which is going to build a strong end of the year. So yeah. Yep. Yep. Bad market. We had 17 deals on the hot sheet yesterday. Angelique sometimes sends me a sneak peek for today, but I didn't see it this morning. More just listed, more just sold calls and doors, right? That's like the easiest way to get out there and see what's really happening. Hey, just list the house of the neighbors down the street. Who do you know who's interested in buying or selling? Blah, 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 blah. Next door, next call, postcard, whatever it is.
I met a 23-year-old kid last night, and he joined. He lives around here, but he was working with a company called Coastal. Then he transferred over to a Keller Williams in South Tampa. And I was just talking to him about his business. He's 23 years old. He's a good-looking kid, sharp kid, in shape. So what are you doing for business? Because he's in real estate. So what are you doing? He goes, I'm just going out knocking on doors. I go into these high-rise apartments and condos, and I start knocking on doors till I get kicked out. I mean, I know some of you won't do that, but if you just have that mentality and that attitude of, I'm just going to do whatever it takes. And sometimes whatever it takes is more than you're willing to do. And you have to understand that showing up and doing your best isn't always good enough. Sometimes you have to do what's required. So figure out what's required to get the business and show up and do that instead of just doing your best, because you can always do better than your best.
Yep.
No, he doesn't.
More for sale by owners and expired listings. Guys, it's getting harder and harder and harder to sell a home. Time frames are dragging on. FSBOs are not used to it. They all thought, oh, I just put it on the market, it'll sell in a day. That's not happening for them. It's not happening for us. So that's like double down on your FSBO conversations. Expired listings are happening because agents typically are weaker. We got lazy in the easy days. We took short listings. When the listing doesn't sell, whose fault is it? The agent's fault. The seller thinks so anyway. So the chance of them listing with you is not very good unless it's you and you work for this company and you stay in touch with them and you feed them information all the time. So FSBOs and expireds were a huge opportunity in the future, and more active farming, knowing the insides and outs of your neighborhood. I was copied on some emails last night from Kathleen and a Madeira Beach agent who the HOA is just the COA, the condo association, is effed up. They just don't have their shit together. They don't have anything there. The buyer's sticking in wanting to buy the condo, but there's no disclosure. There's no structural defect surgery, none of that stuff. And it's risky. And now the buyer feels damaged because the seller won't get the information, but the condo association won't give the information to the seller. So the seller can't give it to the buyer. It's a mess out there. So condos are going to be extremely challenging going forward, right? But more active farming, if you could become the expert in any neighborhood and understand, I think I mentioned last week, the HOA looming problems, the new rules, they're being pushed back. So that's going to happen right away. But if you are an expert at one of these subdivisions, Triple Creek is an example, and you know the HOA docs, you've got all the stuff down, you know the rules, you know the HOA fees, you know all the stuff, it makes you more valuable to a consumer. And it's so easy to market yourself, especially when you get into their little neighborhood groups and stuff, and you can start demonstrating value. So that's it. Chris, if you would mind click that link, you might have to paste it. I don't know. Sometimes I do it wrong. We're going to talk about Zillow now because, and I'm not bragging, but I've been in this market before, and we have to demonstrate value now more than we ever have before. And the company went on a line and we signed a large contract, $240,000, to make Zillow Showcase Plus available for you. And I am blown away. I have a call every week with Zillow. They go through our numbers, what we're doing, because they're really trying to get us to implement well. And this is an amazing program, and I want you to see it. Showcase age, and this is why we're doing it. Showcase agents win 20% more listings than similar non-showcase agents. And that presumes that you're talking about it, right? And my whole goal for you is to demonstrate more value and charge more money. Screw this 2.5% listing commissions. Let's go for 3. If they want 2.5, don't give them a token. Say, I'll give you the token for 3, but we'll show them what the benefit of the tokens are. Active showcase listings drove 81% more page views, 75% more saves, 79% more shares compared to similar non-showcase listings.
Does anybody know Jared James? One of his main statements, visibility trumps ability. So if you're not good at doing certain things like door knocking and certain sales things, visibility is going to trump your ability. Get out there and make sure people see your listing. The more they see it, the more opportunities you can generate and create.
Right. So we're going to build these into your Moxie listing presentation. So you have the card to play and you don't have to do it. You play the card if they play the game. Now, Jim, an average listing is $400,000. 0.5% would be $2,000, right? If the token costs $400, that's a $1,600 profit, the way I look at it, right? Plus you get a listing over somebody else. Scroll down a little bit. Showcase listings sell for 2% more than similar non-showcase listings. The seller's going to benefit from a higher sales price, right? So that extra 0.5% commission to you gets them 1.5% more money in their pocket. And then showcase listings, that's the last one. So we're going to take this and put it into your Moxie presentation too, to give you the power to use that as a tool.
You missed this one.
Oh, showcase listings are almost 20% more likely to go pending in the first 14 days compared to similar non-showcase listings on Zillow, right? So I don't want you to just hear me talk about this because I'm gonna go through more on this in a minute. But if you don't mind, we have Tenley in the room. I got Tenley, Carolina, and Jimmy both have
real quick, do you want to get Megan on before we?
Yeah, let's do Megan forward. So she's got to do her month-end closings. Hi, Megan.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to come on and thank you guys for all of your support. A lot of agents reach out to me when, as soon as they go under listing and they send me their dot loop and I file those. So I want to thank you guys for adding me on to all your listings. And any questions that you have, I love being that contact and knowing that you guys put your trust in me to be able to answer those. So thank you very much for all your support for our partnership. And then a reminder, next week we have our mobile home class with our manager for our mobile home department. Her name is Sydney, and she will be on with us at 9 a.m. So I'm very excited for that class. We get these trainings and our closer and processor trainings quarterly, or not quarterly, semi-annually. And I feel like every time we have one as a closer doing it 8 years, I learned something new. So very excited for you guys to have the first one. And if you have any questions in the meantime, let me know.
Great. That class, a lot of you might not be interested in mobile homes, but just to be a well-rounded agent and understand how the market works and what's going on. And the truth of the matter is a lot of people can't afford a regular home right now. And mobile homes are affordable, and they're more affordable anyway. And you get a little bit of privacy, a little bit of room. So you might as well know something about it in case, if for no other reason, to refer it out. So thank you, Megan. We'll see you next Thursday.
Absolutely. Sounds good. See you then. Bye, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. Miss Kramer, you and I talked yesterday and last week. You had some Zillow showcase tokens you've been using. Give us your side of the story.
Hold on a sec. No, I don't think that's showing up.
Here, use mine. Yeah, but it's not green on the screen. It's on. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so I have two showcase listings and what I found, at least for me on these, I have gotten two buyer leads from just them clicking on it, speaking to me. I showed both buyers the home. They didn't end up choosing that home, but I had just wrote an offer for one of the buyers on another home. So it's a great way to make a good, solid buyer connection. And there's been increased showings or increased traffic as well. But for me, I haven't actually sold the home with it yet, but I've gained a few buyers. So definitely well worth it for $400. One I already had listed prior, and so I had mentioned to them that it was coming up and that I was going to do that for them. And then the other one, when I met with the seller, that was one of the ways that I, described the value of the 6% listing, and they were excited about it. So, yep.
You can get Carolina.
Carolina, I gave you permission to talk if you're able to unmute.
Yes, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So, for me, I have one listing so far that, when I went to the listing presentation, obviously I had the whole thing ready to show them, this new tool that we had. And so they were blown away by it. They were like, wow, that's pretty cool. Cause I show them the pictures and what it looks like. And I was able to, and they had interviewed a couple of other agents, I was able to get that listing and at 3%. Yay. I did the showcase, and actually I got a lead from that one. And I am actually under contract on that property with my showcase lead that came. I got a total of 3 leads, and actually, so one is under contract on the property, which I'm double siding. And then the other buyer is actually flying from California this week. We actually have 4 properties to see today. They are going to be starting their new job here in Florida at the end of July. So they're coming this week to buy, and they're cash buyers. So for me, it's like absolutely. And one more thing I wanted to add too is that what I find, because I've been doing obviously the Zillow leads, but not through Showcase for quite some time. But when they come through Showcase, they seem to have like their guard is not up as they usually are when you do those online leads. I think that gives them some kind of comfort to know that they're talking directly to the listing agent, and they seem to be more receptive to get into a conversation with me and allowing me to ask questions. So that I thought also that is a great way, again, to get leads and to get leads that are just a little bit more comfortable to engage with you.
Cool. So this is better than me reading you stats, hearing what real people do. Jimmy, I think you've got a mic. You had some situations too. Jimmy does actually practice what he preaches, by the way.
I know, right? I definitely practice what I preach most of the time. So, well, first off, you know, I've run it on a couple different properties. I've gotten a total of 3 leads. Now, you know, Zillow's going to tell you that, you know, you shouldn't preach leads because they can't promise that you're going to get them. But I completely agree with Carolina that you literally, like, it's a different person that is calling you. They definitely have their guard down. Now, I've gotten 3 leads. I have actually one came in, and I'm under contract on a backup offer for one of my properties with one of them. That's all cash. And then we're also looking at other properties too, in case this one doesn't fall through. And we're looking anywhere between $400,000 and $650,000 cash deal for, you know, for the client. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it. You definitely show up much better. I get sometimes views may or may not, you know, be the best when you're looking at some of these, you know, traditionally when you look at the stats, you're going to see that they, you know, you have higher views, you have higher saves, you have all that kind of stuff that they're talking about, but it does depend on the property. You know, you can't put lipstick on. I don't know what that saying is. But you know, it has to be priced right. You know, it still has to be, you know, priced correctly and things like that. But, you know, when you look at, you know, one of my things that, you know, I don't think we talk enough about is one of the things that Zillow actually does when you put your property on a showcase is they'll actually blast out to 600 or so people, an email blast to Zillow's database for people that are showing interest in properties that are similar to yours. So this isn't your database that you have to go in and do anything. They're automatically doing this. And then I will tell you that if you haven't clicked on your own showcase or tried to see what it looks like, I still continue to get emails from Zillow daily on the showcases that I go in, because I go in and check them. I randomly check like 5 to 10 a week to make sure that we're showing up well. And by doing that and logging in, I literally get updates every week from all of those properties saying, hey, did you want to set up a showing here? Like, it's just automatically going directly to the people that are showing interest consistently in your property. So, I mean, it's definitely something that is definitely worth looking into.
Yep. Ashley just said, and these are your leads. There's no referral fees due, none of that type of thing. So
Yep.
they're your leads, so it would nurture and work forever. But Ashley says if they go out of town, if they say, well, really, Tampa's not for us, we'll be in Fort Myers, you can refer that lead out to Fort Myers too and get a referral fee. So the tokens become basically free. I mean, if you get one sale of a $400,000 house, 3% commission, that's $12,000. $6,000 or $800,000, $6,000 or $8,000 pays for a lot of tokens, right?
Right. And
Or-
on a normal Zillow, just Zillow listing where we know everybody's shopping on it, right? When they click and they want to learn more property, if you don't have a showcase, it's going to like those premier agents that are paying for everything. So there's no easy way for somebody to go directly to the listing agent. So this is just another one of those opportunities for you to be able to drive some additional business and possibly get some more leads.
And I coach the Zillow agents on our Flex team. It's hard. Hey, Jackie, I'm interested in this house over on Bullfrog Creek. And Jackie's like, where the hell is Bullfrog Creek? And what is this house? She knows nothing. And she's got to start talking fast to set an appointment for a house she doesn't even know she wants to show. So this is totally different because you're the expert. You're the listing agent. So I love it. Okay. Back to the slideshow, if you don't mind. Thank you, Tenley, Carolina, and Jimmy for sharing your experiences. Next slide. All right, to my inbox. So Jimmy's doing this stuff for you guys to use. So let's see, show the valuable tool. Okay, that's the one, that's the screenshot, the black thing we just showed. Oh no, that's the one. So this is Lauren Fleischman's. After being on the market for only 17 days, the listing has 1,222 views and 75 saves. If you're not sharing that with your seller, you're nuts. Versus a similar home that's been on the market for 97 days, so 80 days longer, has 121 views and only 1 save. So that whole stat page I showed you earlier, it's working. These houses are getting looked at. How does sales work? The more activity you get, the more offers you get. That's how it goes. Next one. I just want to call out Levada. Leveda's our new agent. She's our regional president in Pensacola. She's the number 51 agent and
Great.
number 8 in the state of Florida, number 51 in the nation. That's pretty cool. So your company is attracting talent, which is kind of neat. And then Miguel Salvat from Miami is number 19. Kim Hodgkins is number 41 in the state. Heidi Seddon is number 57 in the state. Andy Simmons, you're at Andy. What? I talked to Andy over the weekend and I said, can I put a token on a used house? Like one that's already on the market? I said, yeah. She goes, oh shit, I'm going to France next week, so I can't do that. I won't be here to answer the phone. Sorry, it's my phone. Trying to send me a plaque. Jesse Griffin, number 63 in the state. Mandy Fackler, number 75 in the state. Dana Erdos, number 80 in the state. And Joe Diener, number 79 in the state. So what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of the top 100. So 10% of all the agents in the state of Florida work for us. Pretty good. Nice. Okay, Jody, I'm just going to send this stuff on. It's hard. Okay, so let's get this straight. There's a nationwide settlement going around with the National Association of Realtors. Nationwide means all 51 states. All 51 states have their own regulations and real estate commissions and real estate rules. Florida is different than Georgia. Georgia is different than North Carolina. North Carolina is different than Texas, which is different than Nevada, which is different than California. Everything's different than California. And so it's really hard. But they're doing classes and they're coming up on the 6th and the 13th. And if you guys have time and you like to learn, I'll forward this out again, but scroll down.
I can't seem to scroll down.
I do that too. They said they tried to sign up and it said you're not authorized, but Joe said he tried it again and it finally took it. Yeah, I don't run that world, but it should be as simple as registering now. It's usually first name, last name, email address, pick the class you want, and it's ready to go. I do sign up for almost all those classes. And when you sign up, even if you can't make it, they generally send you a recording. So it's kind of helpful, but it's not a bad idea to hear what nationwide other agents are doing because buyer brokerage has been around for a long time. Lots of states use it. So what they're doing is they're interviewing agents who are used to using buyer agency agreements, and they're sharing their hard stories with you and trying to make it less scary. Onerous is a good word. Okay. Next one. I just like, in case you missed the training recaps, I got to tell you, I have my own opinions on these things, but termite training, I thought would be like the boringest class. I figured we'd be done in and out in less than 30 minutes. It took 48 minutes to get through that class with that guy. And it was actually good information. So I'm trying to bring in experts in other fields. So you guys are just top of the line on everything. So you don't have to feel silly when a customer asks you a question you know the answer to. And termites and wood destroying organisms are real. They really are. We're going to come across them a lot. So the more confidence you have surrounding that, the better it is. So it was a good class on Thursday and the other stuff we do. I don't have a guest for this Thursday yet, so I might have to pull that one out. My tip of the week. Jimmy spends a lot of time doing it. He does a great job too. They're 2 or 3 minutes really at the most. And like your golden rule report is a huge thing. And who was I talking to the other day? Oh, it was an agent and they're using, I think it was Lauren Fleischman. No, it was Laura Wolf. And her website was the second biggest inquiry search. So it was laurawolf.com and it was Zillow number 1, her website number 2, and then realtor.com because it shows the seller where the leads are coming from. And it has a heat map of the United States and shows and the world where the leads are coming from. It's just an interesting tool, but you have to set it. We don't do it for you. We made a decision as a company not to launch on everybody's listening because it doesn't always look good, right? How come we're getting no leads? It's not a good thing to describe, but if it looks good, go online and download it and send it. So they got you a price reduction. That's what the tools are for, but you have to know that they're there. So that's a really quick little video on how to generate your golden rule report. Next.
That was the last one.
Tip of the week we did, Trey Goldman. This one, I'm pointing to the screen. Took that. This is Florida Association of Realtors saying, hey, they pushed the implementation date for the NAR settlement from July to August. So our forms are behind schedule. So we're not going to have new forms anytime soon because once again, for all the reasons I stated, Florida is different than Georgia, which is different than everybody else. So we really don't know what the rules are yet. Sam Beggins. The staff loves you guys a lot. And they're stressed by you guys a lot. So Sammy's put together a class on how dot loop works and how to be a master at dot loop. So, because a lot of times Sam just sends me forms and says, no discount to Jackie. Jackie couldn't do this. Would you just sign it for her? She'll do that. Jackie can do it, but I get a lot of that. So Sammy's like, look, it's so easy to get dot loop down pat. Let's just, do a special class on it. So she sent out a Google form and you say, if you're coming in person, if you're coming as Zoom, or you can't make it, that's called an RSVP. And you say yes or no. And there's no offense to no. It just let us know if you're coming or not. So if you don't mind, check that out. And this is just for the commercial agents. Century 21 signed up with a company called CompStack, and it's basically a resource to find sellers of commercial real estate, right? And it's free for the beginning. So if you're into commercial real estate, you should have gotten copied on this because you'd be on the CIN program. But if not, send me a note and I'll send it to you. But your account, activate your account here for free. So it's a new tool for commercial real estate to find properties, which is kind of neat. I like it. And that's all I got on this thing. So back to the slideshow. Florida 21, the cheap tickets are gone. Hi, Mike. Cheap tickets are gone. So now they're $250, I think. Is that $225 instead of $199? Big deal. Not too late to go if you want to go. I think we're over 50 people now, which is pretty cool. Which is my goal. Next slide is just me talking about Florida 21. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today because I got 2 minutes left. But we do want to talk about the raffle. We are keeping track of, Sammy's keeping track of the Moxie, or Jimmy and Sammy are doing Moxie CMAs, Moxie Buyer Presentation, Moxie Seller Presentation, just trying to get engagement in different activities. Every time you do those things, we're going to get a raffle ticket. We're going to give away money to pay for your Florida 21 experience. So know that's happening. And there's a link. Then we got some birthdays this week and a whole bunch of anniversaries. Dale Neighbors and Prudy Cole's birthdays were yesterday. South Tampa Midday Reach. Diane Berg in Sun City Center on the 4th. Edith Onga from Apollo Beach on the 4th. Mike Hoskinsons and Susie with Zigman on the 6th and 7th. And Ryan Vaught from Apollo Beach on the 7th. And Elaine Nom from South Tampa on the 8th. How did you guys like real life real estate yesterday? Wasn't that cool? I just love hearing how the agents do that. A sad story and a happy story. Think of that person that wanted to sell their house for $230 something 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they couldn't sell it. Thank God. And they rented it. And then they sold it for $400,000. That's awesome. And then being the other agent, they bought the house a year ago. They said they were going to live there for 3 years because our agent advised them on that. And they changed their mind. They want to sell in a year. And they had to sell it for $40,000 less than they paid for it. Two totally different things, but definitely real world real estate, because we deal with all kinds of people, rags to riches, right? But they knew the fact and they took the time and they got it done. And that's our job. Sometimes we have to deliver good news and sometimes we have to deliver bad news. I'm going to go for the older ones first. So Aixa joined us in 1994, in June of 1994, 30 years ago. Isn't that cool? Right? Diane Bubno, 2003, that's 21 years ago. Wow. Michael Reichenbach, 21 years ago. Tangela Johnson, 15 to 19 years ago. It just goes on and on and on. That doesn't happen in a lot of places. I'm not going to read all the names, so it'll take too long. But I'm just honored that those people stick around with us as much as they do. Adam in the room. It was 2 years ago this month. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. Who else is around here? Adam Kuchmeyer's been here for 4 years already. That blows my mind. Sarah McIntyre, 6 years. Is that me or you? I don't know. All right. Somebody. That I'm not going to call those names out. And then, of course, Masters and Centurion are the award trophies. And $140,000 is your target. And it's 9:31. So we're going to break off to individual office meetings. And I'm going to say happy Tuesday and thank you for all your support. We really do appreciate you.